Hey everybody, this is Eric Warren. Welcome to NetworkMarketingPro.com. I'm here in Rockwall, Texas, and visiting at the home of a very good and very dear friend, Mr. Earl Shaw. Earl, thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me on.
And just so you know, Earl's a real trooper because he just slipped his back out over the course of the last couple days. So if he says anything delusional, it's just the pain medication talking. But he's trying to kind of get his back in shape. So I appreciate you doing it. But Earl is one of those people that is part of this 7-figure in a calendar year in commissions club. He's earned over $1 million many times in a year inside of this profession. And we've known each other for about 20 years now, something like that. And it's so funny, we talked yesterday, and you told me you were involved in the profession full-time for 22 years, but I've been involved for 20, right? So when I got involved, you were already an icon. You were already one of these kind of almost unreachable characters inside of the profession, and had already making huge amounts of money, money that I could only dream about at the time. But first of all, I appreciate you being on and sharing with everybody. All these people on this that watch this program, they want to become network marketing professionals. They want to do this. They want to take charge of their lives. They really want to go after it. Okay, so we're gonna talk about some stories and some different ideas, and let's start at the beginning, if it's okay with you.
Okay.
I think it's really important for people to hear, I think, how people who are very successful, how they got started, and why they got started. What caused them to do it? What caused them to make that decision? So, where were you 22 years ago, and what was happening that led you to the network marketing profession?
Well, you just said something very valuable, I believe, when you said why I got started. And that's something that I've said for years, and it could not be said by anybody any better than this, I believe. It's the why. Everybody wants to know how. Well, it's easy to tell people how, but it's 15% how for your success, 85% why. Make your why bigger than the how will show up. But I'm about as traditional of a businessman as you're ever going to run across, I believe. There's an intersection in Dallas called Preston and LBJ. It's the #1 traffic count intersection in Dallas with a red light there stopping them. I owned a company called Stereo Dallas. Spent a major part of my life on that corner, and car stereos, home stereos, and had a lot of fun. Thought I was doing good financially because I didn't have anything to compare it to. But $1 million worth of inventory sitting on the shelves, 40 employees, $20,000 a month rent, run millions of dollars through the bank every year. But you know who got it? The newspapers, the TV stations, the radio stations, and rent and payroll. Mm-hmm. So running millions through the bank every year for the CPA to tell me April the 15th, $100,000 a year was a good year. All I had to do was unlock the doors at 9 a.m., close it at 9 p.m.
How many days a week?
I mean, 7 days.
7 days a
week?
week?
Well, no, Sunday we open late at 1, so everybody could go to church.
Yeah.
So 80 or 90 hours a week.
For your $100,000.
To try to make $100,000.
And taking all the risks.
A year. I mean, I never saw my house daylight, never saw my kid when he was not asleep. But we were having lots of fun. I mean.
And your identity was a business owner.
Oh, yes.
That was what you did.
I mean, we did crazy things, like we built the loudest car stereos in the world. And my cars was on display every year at the Consumer Electronics Show.
So that made you feel good?
Made you feel good. I mean, we blew out sunroofs, busted out windshields with car stereos. We could give you a headache for a month or make your nose bleed, you know what I'm saying? Right. And having lots of fun. I'm talking about the Japanese were flying to Dallas, Texas just to take pictures of my car. So this makes a guy feel good, but the 80 to 90 hours a week, I'm not seeing your house daylight, not seeing your kid when he was not asleep, and looking back on it, I call all of it tiptoeing through the tulips to safely arrive at their grave. You may have $100,000 a year, but you don't have a life.
Right.
And a pretty successful stereo business though. And then the first version of the satellite dish comes out when they were 10 feet, 12 feet big.
Big C-band dishes,
yeah,
and you can get all the channels for free.
$5,000 a dish. So
you got into that business.
Yeah, I add that to my stereo business, and I mean it was unbelievable, off the charts good. We sold 80 dishes in 1 month, October of '85, 0 in November of '85. See, this is how fast things can change. You know, you got to tell anybody, you better have your backup plan, especially with this crazy economy that we're living in today, because HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, they spent the millions on the lobbyist groups to get Congress to vote in a new law allowing HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, all of them to scramble their signals so people with those dishes could no longer steal
So that was the
free
reason.
movies.
That was the reason why they were getting it.
And
To get those free channels, and now
yeah,
they couldn't.
so that's the reason we sold 80 dishes 1 month, 0 the next, because they voted on November the 1st, Congress did, then the newsman's on 6 o'clock, again at 10 o'clock, said, ha, 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 all you people, those $5,000 dishes still weigh your money. That was not good for my business since I had a warehouse rather full of them.
Right.
So I was out of business in 1 day.
So now, and before you tell me what happened, when that happened, so many people today, I think, that are watching this, either are in this situation or know people in this situation where things could change tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Their division of their company could be eliminated tomorrow. They could be laid off tomorrow. Their business could, suffer some type of a setback or crisis, and there's no bailout coming.
That's right.
So what happened to you is what can happen to so many different people. That's why we need to rescue more people and at least get them starting to create an exit strategy or a backup plan to be able to it's almost insurance against business catastrophes.
Yeah.
So anyway, so basically you're out of business in a day.
I'm out of business in 1 day, but I'm slow. It took me 13 months to figure it out. When I show up at work one morning and the banker beat me there and had some really large chains and locks around my doors.
Really?
In Texas, you call that a clue, you're out of business.
So that you came to the businesses locked up.
Yeah.
You were locked out of your own business.
So overnight, I have 5 new cars taken away from me. Lose my mansion on the hill. Like 4 cars are already gone, repossessed. You understand? Mm-hmm. And my personal car was a bright red Corvette with a $15,000 stereo. And I mean, we did some serious car stereos. We put we put airplane alternators on these cars, 10 batteries. Drive down the road at night with a stereo cranked up. They pull so much juice that it would turn your headlights off and on as you're driving down the highway. This was the fun part of the business. This is what kept me going, I guess, was the fun part of the business. So 4 cars are gone. I'm left with my Corvette. I'm 2 payments past due on it, and I know it's next. So I start parking it over a friend's house, because I know they're coming to get it. So I start parking it over to Buddy's house so they can't find it. But they found it anyway. I didn't know his 3 payments past due on his. I was looking for his too. So I'm down to my fishing car. 10-year-old faded out blue bomb, 300,000 or 400,000 miles on it. You pull this car in station, filled it with oil, checked the gas. I'm talking about it killed every mosquito within 100 yards anytime you fired it up. And this is what I'm left with.
Well, and back up to the housing. So many people in the world today are losing their house. Mm-hmm. What was that like to be in that, to be moving out of that mansion?
Well, I'm married to a gorgeous blonde, and the 18-wheeler backs into our front yard. Christmas week of '86. Christmas week loads up our furniture to move us into a trailer house on a dirt road, not a blacktop road within miles. And we're all loaded up, ready to head out for the trailer house on a dirt road, not a blacktop road within miles. And I'm looking for my wife to put her in this fishing car because we got to lead the 8-wheeler out there into the woods where this thing is. I can't find my wife. I go back in the house looking for her. You know where she was? She was standing in the middle of this big empty living room. You know what she's doing? She's crying. Well, I spent enough money on Zig Ziglar to know what you're supposed to do when your wife is standing in the middle of a big empty living room crying, so I'll go over and put my arm around her. said, don't worry about a thing, baby. You still got me.
Yeah, maybe not the best thing.
Well, yeah, there's a difference between positive thinking and stupidity. That definitely did not work on that particular day. She started crying louder. So listen to me. It does not take me very long to figure out my wife's not going to do trailer houses well at all.
Right.
So
you move in there.
Get into the trailer house, and 6 months later, I'm 2 payments past due on the trailer house. You know, here's a guy I've been running millions of dollars through the bank every year. Now I can't come up with $400 a month. And I mean, the bank is sending me the letter that you have to sign for. They come in to get my trailer house.
And what's happening in between? Any opportunities presented to you in those 6 months?
2 really good friends of mine that we both know very well here in Dallas, they're calling me, wanting me to come to Dallas, look at one of these network marketing things. I start off pretty polite with them, like lose my number.
Right.
They'd call back, don't call me, I'll call you. They'd call back, look, wouldn't do me any good, look at what you got. There's nobody out here in these woods for me to talk to. Nobody in Dallas will talk to me because I got no credit and no credibility left in Dallas. But they would call back, they would call back, they would call back. I said, look, guys, I'm not doing one of the, don't y'all know who I am? I'm a businessman. I'm not doing one of them Amway things.
Right.
And the letter comes from the bank, though. And I will say, I am totally stressed out at this point in my life. I become sick. I'm talking about I become very ill with a disease that back then medical science didn't even have a name for. Since then they've named it. It's the ITC disease. But I came very ill with something called the ITC disease. And anyway, I'm signing for the letter. They're coming to get my trailer house. I'm reading that letter. I'm looking at this good-looking wife. And I'm saying, I had enough trouble moving this girl into a trailer house. I got my hands full moving her into a tent. And the phone rings, and it's my buddies for about the 100th phone call. And something happened. I was immediately healed of my ITC disease. Oh, I forgot to tell you, ITC disease, I'm too cool to do one of those network marketing things.
I was wondering where, it's like I was trying to figure, ITC, is that like irritable, something?
So all it takes is getting your trailer house repossessed to cure you of the ITC disease.
So you finally said, look, I can't go any lower than this.
So they called at the right time, and I said, what time is that meeting?